a young woman found cut in half, drained of blood, and posed in a grotesque display. Her killer taunted authorities throughout the investigation, but was never caught. Was it a doctor with surgical skill? A predator with twisted obsessions? Or someone hiding in plain sight? For over 70 years, the Black Dahlia has remained one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries. Here is Dahlia's belongings. The words were pasted together from newspaper clippings. A ransom note without a demand. They arrived in a manila envelope addressed to the Los Angeles Examiner. Inside, clean with gasoline erasing any trace of the sender, were a birth certificate, photographs, and an address book. They were the last remnants of a life, sent by the person who had taken it. In the winter of 1947, post-war Los Angeles was a city of dreams and shadows, a place where the bright promise of Hollywood glamour met the stark reality of the transient and the forgotten. It was a city that would become the setting for one of its most enduring and unsettling mysteries. The victim was a 22-year-old woman named Elizabeth Short. She was an aspiring actress. Though she had no known acting credits, she had come to California, like so many others, chasing a dream that remained just out of reach. The press, in their lurid and sensationalized coverage, would give her a name that would echo through the decades: the Black Dahlia. According to official statements, Elizabeth Short was last seen alive on January 9, 1947. She had been staying with a married salesman she was dating, and he dropped her off at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was supposed to meet her sister, who was visiting from Boston, but that meeting never happened. For 6 days, Elizabeth Short vanished. Police reports filed at the time paint a picture of a young woman living on the fringes of society. She moved frequently, staying with friends and acquaintances, working as a waitress to support herself. She was known for her striking appearance, with jet black hair and a preference for black clothing. It was a style that combined with the 1946 film noir, The Blue Dahlia, likely inspired her posthumous nickname. The investigation into her life revealed a complex and at times contradictory portrait. She was described by some as a tease, a woman who sought the company of men, but was not promiscuous. An FBI file noted a 1943 arrest for underage drinking in Santa Barbara. She had a fiancé, a pilot named Matt Gordon, who was killed in a plane crash, leaving her heartbroken. She was a transient, a dreamer, a young woman navigating a city that could be as unforgiving as it was alluring. The chronological events leading to her death are a fractured timeline, pieced together from witness statements and police records. After being dropped off at the Biltmore, her movements become a blur. She was reportedly seen at a cocktail lounge, and then nothing. Nothing. The 6 days she was missing are a black hole in the narrative, a void where speculation and theory have rushed in to fill the absence of fact. What is known is that during this time, she was subjected to unimaginable horror. The autopsy would later reveal ligature marks on her wrists, ankles, and neck, indicating she had been bound and tortured for an extended period. The official cause of death was a cerebral hemorrhage caused by severe blows to the head. On the morning of January 15, 1947, a mother was walking with her young child in the Leimert Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. It was a largely undeveloped area at the time. She noticed something in a vacant lot, something stark white against the damp earth. At first, she thought it was a mannequin, discarded and broken. As she drew closer, the horrifying reality became clear. Police entered the scene at 10:00 a.m. The body of Elizabeth Short was lying in the grass, just feet from the sidewalk. She was naked, her body severed in two at the waist. Her face had been slashed from the corners of her mouth to her ears, creating a grotesque Glasgow smile. Portions of her flesh had been cut away, and her intestines had been removed and tucked neatly beneath her buttocks. The body had been posed, her hands over her head, her elbows bent at right angles, and her legs spread apart. There was no blood at the scene. The body had been completely drained of blood and meticulously cleaned, suggesting the murder had taken place elsewhere. A cement bag with traces of watered-down blood was found nearby. The killer had taken the time to not only mutilate but to also erase, to present a scene that was both horrific and sterile. The discovery of the Black Dahlia's body ignited a media firestorm. The Los Angeles newspapers, locked in a circulation war, sensationalized every gruesome detail. Reporters swarmed the crime scene and the police department, some even answering tip lines, potentially compromising the investigation. The public was both horrified and fascinated. The LAPD launched an extensive investigation, interviewing over 150 suspects, but no arrests were ever made. The sheer number of suspects, many of whom were men from Short's address book, created a labyrinth of leads that went nowhere. The precision of the bisection led investigators to suspect someone with medical knowledge, and they even looked into students at the USC Medical School. The killer, or someone claiming to be, taunted the police and the press. On January 24th, the manila envelope with Short's belongings arrived at the Examiner. The contents, all wiped clean with gasoline, offered no clues to the sender's identity. A few days later, a postcard, also with words cut from newspapers, was sent to the Examiner, signed the Black Dahlia Avenger. More than 60 people would confess to the murder over the years, all of them deemed to be false. The theories surrounding the case are as numerous as they are disturbing. Some believe the explanation lies in a connection to other unsolved crimes, such as the Cleveland torso murders of the 1930s, which bore a similar gruesome signature. Skeptics point to the chaotic nature of the investigation and the media's interference as the primary reasons the case was never solved. One of the most prominent theories put forth by former LAPD detective Steve Hodel is that his own father, Dr. George Hodel, was the killer. The doctor was a prime suspect at the time, and the LAPD even bugged his home. On the recordings, he was heard saying, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia. They can't prove it now." Another theory, detailed in the book Black Dahlia, Red Rose, points to a bellhop and former mortician's assistant named Leslie Dillon. The book suggests Short was murdered at the Astor Motel, where a room was reportedly found covered in blood and fecal matter on the morning her body was discovered. Others suggest a psychological dimension, a crime born of a deep-seated rage and a desire to dominate. The posing of the body, the mutilation, the public display, all point to a killer who wanted to send a message, to humiliate his victim, even in death. The act of severing the body at the waist has been interpreted by some as a symbolic act of emasculation, a retaliation against a woman who was perceived as a tease. The Black Dahlia case has become more than just an unsolved murder. It is a dark and enduring myth. It speaks to our deepest fears about the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of a glamorous city. Elizabeth Short's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the countless aspiring dreamers who have been chewed up and spit out by the Hollywood machine. We like to believe that everything has a reason, that every mystery has a solution, but sometimes silence answers back. The trail has gone cold, the witnesses are gone, and the killer, in all likelihood, took their secret to the grave. All that remains is the ghost of a young woman, frozen in time, her name forever linked to a crime that continues to haunt the City of Angels.